Hey guys, Level Up here at On Point Gaming. Today we're going to do another episode of BattleNoob. This time we're going to go over weapon attachments, and I imagine that whenever you first started the game, your weapon looked a little bit like this. Actually, it should have looked almost exactly like this unless you had the AK. The M16A3, and the M16A3 is one of the better assault rifles. It's arguably the best assault rifle. I'm going to have to sort of sit back and rethink my best assault rifle situation after playing with the M16 a bit today, but the M16A3, and this is probably going to fly over your head if you're new, does 25 damage up close and drops off to 18.4 damage at its minimum damage, which is at 50 meters. It does 25 through about 8 meters, so this is pretty much the same damage model for all the assault rifles. Actually, I believe all of the assault rifles do the same. But the iron sights are fine. The reload time is 1.8 seconds and 2.37 seconds. 1.8 seconds if they're still around in the chamber, and 2.37 if the gun is entirely empty. It's a fast set of reload times, and I think that the 2.7 on the long reload is pretty darn close to the or 2.37, sorry, is pretty darn close to the short reload time of the AEK. So that should give you a pretty good reference. The iron sights are fine. The base accuracy is 0.2, and its recoil is 0.26 up, 0.1 left, and 0.4 right. So it pulls right quite a bit. But it's just a good all-around gun. At 800 rounds a minute, it's good at close range and long range. So let's look at the suppressor. The suppressor, or full suppressor, if you're thinking about flash suppressors, eliminates the muzzle flash that comes out of the end of your gun while lowering the muzzle velocity to the point to where there is no sonic boom after the weapon discharges. This makes the weapon very quiet and keeps you off of the minimap in-game. So the only other penalty that you're going to take is going to be you're going to lower your muzzle velocity by a factor of about 40%, and you're going to decrease your damage output by a factor of 25%. It's not going to lower its minimum damage at all. It's just going to lower the distance that it takes to drop off to 18.4 damage to around 30 meters as opposed to 50 meters. So it might be larger than a 25% loss factor, but it was just some rough math. The suppressor is going to slightly increase your hip-fire accuracy, which is a good bonus to get. It's going to slightly decrease your aim-down sights accuracy and your weapon spread to 0.3. It's going to decrease your recoil by a factor of exactly 27% in most cases, so it's going to lower the up and right recoil a bit to make it a little more manageable, but it's also going to increase your spread, which makes the weapon less accurate, but overall it's not too bad, because most carbines have a spread far worse than the 0.3 spread that a suppressed M16 would have. The suppressor doesn't really change a whole lot other than that factor. Staying off the minimap is very useful for team deathmatch, and especially for new players, this would be a good attachment to use, because any advantage that you can get as far as staying off the minimap will help. The foregrip is in the second attachment slot. We're going from bottom to top. The third slot can be used. The suppressor can be used in the third slot. The foregrip takes 0.1 recoil off of the highest side of your recoil and increases your spread by 0.1. The highest side of the recoil of the M16 is 0.4. And you have the suppressor, which takes it down to about 0.35. So the right recoil is now 0.25 right. So that's going to decrease your recoil to the point where you almost don't feel the recoil at all. It will bring the recoil down to a similar recoil pattern to the M416, but it's going to increase the spread to carbine spread of 0.4, which is not terrible because most of the carbines are good guns. The M4 is my favorite weapon in the game, but it's not going to have quite the accuracy that it would that it would have without the foregrip and the suppressor. It's just sort of a give and take relationship with the foregrip. Makes a good attachment for team deathmatch because you really don't ever need too long of an engagement distance gun. But honestly, you can pull off some decent engagement distances. See, like that one right there, it's a pretty decently long engagement, and while it took all 30 rounds, I still got the kill, so I wouldn't say that it was a bad situation to be involved in. But this guy right here underestimated the amount of guys inside of here because I had the sound suppressor, so he did not realize that I was there, and this guy did not realize that I was right here either, because the minimap is a great way to gather information from what's going on in the battlefield. I would say that the minimap is one of the most useful tools that I have. Red dot sights, or reflex sights as they're known to some people, are the basic sights that are available to weapons. They're not the holographic with a slight zoom of 1.05 zoom. It's like just barely a zoom, but it's still a zoom, which is unrealistic. The red dots have no zoom, unlike the ACOG, which you do unlock first, but you unlock the reflex after around 30 or 40 kills, I believe, is whenever you unlock the reflex for assault guns, so assault rifles, not assault rifles, but they're one of my favorite sights. I like the Cobra sight a bit better than the red dot, than the just straight up red dot, but the red dot's still a great sight. I like its actual reticle of just having that dot, and it's a great all-around sight that can overall increase your accuracy in game. So we had this red dot, and we have a full-fledged special operations assault rifle. This thing looks amazing now. It shoots amazing, has very little recoil, pretty darn accurate in almost all situations too. So this is sort of the thought of the train of thought that you should follow when upgrading your gun. You should think about what purpose it's going to be put to. This is my M16A3 team deathmatch setup. The only other thing I might change in some situations would be to put a laser sight on instead of the suppressor in the third slot, but overall a suppressor and a foregrip and red dot combination is a very, very good combination. I wouldn't say that it's overused, because I don't really see this combination a whole lot. Potentially you could use a holographic instead of the reflex red dot sight, but I think in a lot of cases the holographic is just a little much, and it's personally my favorite sight. I don't really care for the Cobra sight's actual recoil. I just like that the Cobra sight is so thin around the edges, which makes it easier to maintain a target picture, so to speak, whenever I'm aiming at my enemies. Just really kind of reduces the initial effort that it takes for accuracy, and the overall situation is increased. So that's all the time that I have for you guys today.